Hello ladies and welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome. Hello, my name is Samantha and it is great to have you. I upload new videos every Sunday, so if you aren't yet subscribed, hit that button down below and turn on the bell notification so that you're notified whenever I upload. As you can tell by the title of today's video, we are going to be talking Instagram edits. This is something I've gotten a lot of questions about recently on both Tumblr and Instagram. So today I'm going to be showing you the apps I use, the techniques I use, and basically how I would curate a feed like mine. So this is what it looks like currently, and if you want to figure out how to get your feed looking like this and how to edit your photos like I do, keep on watching. So let's just jump right in and go over the apps I use for editing. My top 3 choices are Facetune 2, the Pro version, VSCO, as well as Afterlight. Afterlight I don't use quite as much, however, it is good for when it's needed. So let me show you the photos that we are going to be editing today. These are already on my Instagram. We are going to be editing this photo, the most recently posted, this photo, the second most recently posted, and then the third photo is going to be this picture I took at Times Square a couple weeks ago. I really like this picture. There was a lot to work with in the background, so it was a little bit difficult to edit, but I think that'll make it more fun to re-edit with you all. So let's get started. So the very first app we're starting with is Facetune. I've already got my photos loaded in here, as you can see. This is the image you saw on my Instagram. This is the original. So while there's not a huge difference between the two of them, you can note that I have definitely whitened my clothing. I've added some detailing to my bag as well as my shoes, and I've made some funky lights go on in the background to kind of distract from the crowds of people. I think that's an excellent touch. When you have a crowded background, you can play with light to distract from it. So the very first thing I personally do when editing a photo like this is to go in with the whiten tool and make sure that my clothing and my accessories are as pristine as possible. So I'm going to be using the whiten tool on my dress as well as my running shoes because those babies need a wash. And I'm doing this around the mid-range in terms of the whitening tool because I don't want it to be too glaringly obvious. Now I'm zooming in on my shoes. These babies were quite dirty, as I mentioned, so I would have no problem with going in a bit stronger on these and increasing the whiteness. But we're going to go over it once and see how that looks. So I already think that with whitening it, it makes the photo so much cuter and more clean. I think my shoes will be okay. Yeah, those look white enough for the time being. However, I am going in with the detail tool, both for my shoes and my handbag. And that I can leave quite high as well because they're small pieces that you really wouldn't notice anyway. You can't really tell the difference when it comes to my shoes. However, with my handbag, that makes a world of difference. So that is why I love this tool. So on to the next tool, which is going to be Smooth. This is a tool people love for their face. I use it on my face occasionally. However, I do more so like using it for when your clothing bunches in ways you would not like it to, or you can see bras through your clothing. So we're going to smooth that out. I'm going to erase just a little bit down here so that we can still get some of the ruching that was intended with this dress, but I definitely do want to make sure that my bra is blurred sufficiently. So I think that looks good. That's definitely an improvement. Next, we are going to work on my face because the lighting wasn't too bad. However, I could give it a little bit of help. So I'm using the relight feature and I'm going to turn the blend down to 20. 22 looks good. And again, you can just see that subtle difference makes all the difference in the world. Okay, and that is all that we're going to do on this photo in Facetune. So what we are going to do is open it up in VSCO. We're going to import this and we're going to make it a little bit cooler because in my opinion, this color would have been a bit too bright for my feed. So I definitely want to cool it down just a little bit, and then we'll be using Afterlight to add some funky lights. So I'm just using the white balance to tone it down just a little bit. So as you can see, there's not a huge difference in color. However, something as small as that can make or break how your pictures look together in your feed. So that's all we're doing in VSCO. We are going to save that to our camera roll, and then we're going into Afterlight, which is going to be the final app for this photo. For this photo, I used the light setting, and I was on Leek 7 in this blue tone. And I had it turned down probably about this far, 47%. And then that's it. We can save that, and we can compare our photos. So we went from this photo, cute to begin with, but could definitely use some improvements, to this. Colors balanced, whites popping, beautiful. A big improvement in my eyes. So moving on, we are going to be editing this photo next. This photo was taken against a beautiful white wall that is appearing gray in this photo. And that needs to change because, as you can see from the edited version of that photo, I do like my whites. If there's a white, it has to be a bright white. So we're going to be figuring out this background, adding some color to my flowers to make them pop, and just focusing on the details, especially those mirrored glasses of mine and my beautiful Louis Vuitton bag. So let's get started. We are again going to be importing this image into Facetune. So here it is. So just like the other photo, we are going to be starting with the whitening tool on this photo because I need to sort this background out and make it properly white. I'm going to go over this twice with the white tool at full intensity because the way it's looking currently is just not up to my standards. So that was one run with the whitening tool, and I'm going to go over it one more time. Now, I personally think that that is a sufficiently white wall. The choice is up to you on whether or not you like something that bright, but this is how I would ideally like to have my post on Instagram. So before and after, between these two whitenings, you can't really tell. However, that's what it used to look like. I am now going in again with the whiten tool to use on my top because that's again looking a little bit gray for my preferences. Already this photo is looking pretty good. However, I do want to go in with the vibrance tool to make my flowers even brighter. And I do also need to add some details later on, so I'll be doing that in a second. This is just the vibrance tool, strictly on the flowers, full intensity. It makes a nice difference. Not too bold, but it's definitely noticeable. Next, we are taking the detail tool and we are going to add some details to my sunglasses. They're pretty cute as is, but again, adding a little bit of the detail just makes them pop against everything else. That is the difference so far. I personally think it looks substantially better and I'd be ready to post it as is. But again, this is a bit too cool for my feed. So what I'm going to do is save it to my camera roll. We're going back into VSCO and then we're going to warm it up just a little bit. I'm going to be using the white balance, dragging it slightly towards the yellow side. I'm also going to take the skin tone up to 1.9 just to give me a bit more of a glow. So now that that image is finished, we're going to add it into the edits folder and then we can compare our edits, the original, and what I posted on my Instagram. So the original photo, again, not bad, could use some work though. And then this is what we edited. So if you want to know how to take a photo like this with a gray background to a white background, this is a very good app for you. If you want to know the tripod I used to take this photo, it'll be linked down below. It saved my life and is coming on all of my future vacations with me because boyfriends just don't get the concept of angles. Moving on to the final photo, we are going to be editing this baby. I took this last weekend in Central Park. So this is the original version and this is the edited version. You honestly may not be able to tell a huge difference between the two of them because I really did not do a whole lot to this photo. I basically went in and I removed the acne spots you can see on my face. I smoothed my hair a bit, I whitened my dress, and detailed my glasses. So very simple, very quick. I will show you how that's done again in my favorite app ever, Facetune. As usual, the first thing I'm going to do is whiten my dress. That is the most important thing in my eyes. So now that my dress is white, we are going to focus on removing the blemishes on my face because believe it or not, I am human and I do have flaws and acne. So that happens. However, we have Facetune to fix that up in no time. I'm going to be using the patch tool and I'm going over my chickenpox scar. I'm going over this small island that was growing on my head. There we are. And this dark patch under my eye. So now my face is looking a little bit better. However, the left-hand side does seem a bit dark, so I'm going to be going in with the paint tool to just brighten that up ever so slightly and add a little bit of a highlight, if you will. So using the skin brush, I'm going in here and just painting along the top of my cheek, erasing what I do not need, and then turning this way down. So basically that's all I want, just a little bit brighter. Next, I'm going to be using the Relight tool just to add a little bit more brightness to my face, taking that down to 30. I think that's a reasonable amount. So my face already looks a lot brighter. I do also want to make my lips and eyes a bit more prominent, so I'm doing so now. Then we will go back to the touch-up, do my under eye bags, maybe about 65. Yeah, sure, why not? And touch up again. Lips, make them just a bit darker. Before we finish, I'm just going to be going in with the smooth tool on my hair. I basically just do the ends of it to make it look a little bit softer. Maybe up there a bit, over here, and I'm going to turn the intensity down to 42. So there's a very subtle improvement, but an improvement nonetheless. So now that that is finished, we are going to import it into our edits folder, and we're going to compare. This is the original, and that is the one that we just edited. So I think all of those edits turned out really well, and they're all definitely Instagrammable. As you can see, I've got them all on my feed, and I think they look stunning. If you agree, please do give this video a thumbs up. I would appreciate a subscribe as well if you're feeling generous. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.